I would like to call this board meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Please be advised in the event of a fire emergency, an alarm will sound. Please note all emergency exits and evacuate well away from the building. At this time, we request that please turn your cell phones to silence. And I do ask the board members to kindly speak up for our recording purposes. We will start the meeting with electing a president. Do I have a nomination for president?
I'd like to nominate Liz Dow for president.
Do I have a second?
We don't have microphones.
Wait, I'm recording.
He's recording, she said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We usually do, and we're having a discussion tonight. I'd like to nominate Liz Dietrich for president. Or I'll second on Liz. Oh, so he's second. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me say, do I have a second for Liz Dow?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Liz Dietrich.
Can I have a second for Liz Dietrich? Are there any other nominations? Okay. All in favor of Liz Dow as president, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 2. Yeah, raise your hand. It might be easier. 1, 2, 3, 4. And nays?
Nay.
All in favor for?
So I just want to make sure, did you have 3 for no?
I have 3 yes.
Okay, just want to make sure.
So the vote is 4 to 3?
Yes.
Okay. So the vote is 4 to 3. So the motion for Liz Dow as president will carry.
Yep. Now you go to Ms. Dietrich.
What's that?
For these, to see if it's,
I have a vote for Liz Dietrich as president. And opposed?
no,
Okay, their vote is 3 to 4. So the favor is for Liz Dow as president. Congratulations, Liz Dow. Please stand for the oath of office and raise your right hand after me. I, Liz Dow, do solemnly swear
I, Liz Dow, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of office of president
the duties of office of President
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Switch seats with them.
We're already started.
yes. So now we'll do vice president.
Okay, now we will elect a vice president. Do I have a nomination for vice president?
I'd like to nominate John Bickford.
Can I have a second? Are there any other nominations for vice president? Being that there are no other nominations, all in favor for John for vice president, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so that vote is for John Bickford as vice president. That motion will carry. Congratulations to John. John, please stand for the oath. Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, John Bickford, do solemnly swear
I, John Bickford, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of office of Vice President
the duties of the office of Vice President
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Congratulations.
So we will start our meeting first with administration of oath, just to make mention that the superintendent of schools, district clerk took their oath on 7/9, and the treasurer took their oath on 7/15. To additions, deletions, and changes, Bob?
Yes, under additions, under 1117, we have appointment of a social studies teacher. And under personnel, with regards to changes, we have an updated athletic position for cross-country coach.
Thank you. Next, we move on to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda 1 through 8, please?
So moved.
I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Next, we have communications.
Yes, the only communications we have are your backup notes. There's nothing particularly new from last week.
Any guests of the board?
No.
Thank you. Any public forum?
No.
Thank you. Next, we'll move to the reorganizational appointments. The first being officer appointments. Resolved that the Board of Education appoint the following officers as listed for 1 year effective immediately. I'd like to do as listed A through II. As you can see in your backup notes, the highlighted names are new. All in favor?
I'll make the motion.
Motion, please, sorry.
Double
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
I. Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-1. 7-0. Apologies, a little nervous, it's my first time in the round. I promise to get better. 2, designations. Resolved that the Board of Education make the designations as listed for 1 year effective immediately, as listed A through H. Motion, please.
I'll make it.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-1. 7-0. Thank you. That's why you're still sitting there. Bonding of school district employees. Pursuant to law and commissioners' regulations, the board will bond the following personnel handling district funds: business administrator and payroll clerk. Motion, please.
I'll make the motion.
A second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried 7-0. Authorizations. Resolved that the Board of Education endorse the authorizations listed for 1 year effective immediately as listed A through N. All in favor, please, or motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Yep.
Any discussion? And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. Approval of cooperative bidding. Resolved that the Board of Education appoint Jeremy Nardone as business administrator to participate in cooperative bidding for the 2024-2025 year effective July 1st, 2024. Motion, please.
I will make it.
A second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. The next, board business is board committees. So as listed in your backup notes, you see A through N is board committees, and you also see who was on them last year. So we have to go through and decide who would like to be placed on board committees.
Can you get a quick description of each one so that we're all, familiar with how often approximately we meet and responsibilities of each one? So we don't jump in and say, I'll do it, and then realize
That's a good
it's
idea.
not for me.
I think that's a great idea. Bob?
Yeah, so this is gonna be round numbers, but elementary and middle high school compact teams meet monthly. Usually they try to have their first meeting by October. Sometimes does occur in September. They usually meet monthly throughout the year, one time a month.
Did you already say the day of the week?
No, usually they get the committee members together. I know like the elementary, they piggyback with PTO. Middle high school is an independent, and they work with whatever's best of the committee.
Okay.
Mine's typically the first Thursday of the month.
Right, and doing the third Wednesday. And how many people sit on that one from our board? 2?
So ideally, I think we want 2 on, and probably no more than 3, correct, Bob?
Legally.
Legally no more than 3, but ideally 2, so that way if someone's not there, there's a backup. You know, all the committees it's a good opportunity to learn in areas that maybe you're not familiar, or areas you have invested interest.
And what are the responsibilities of the committee? You talk about that.
About,
Sorry, I was looking at this.
Yeah, so responsibilities, basically, you're just providing input to the group. You'll look at 7 or 8 different factors regarding the compact teams in terms of what your responsibilities. You'll look at school functions. You look at sometimes discipline data, wherever the will of the committee is. But typically, you guys come up with 2 or 3 goals, and you chase after those goals to complete them. Some normal goals, but you look at emergency plans, you look at codes of conduct. Those are typical, but you may look at schedule or opportunities, enrichment opportunities, things of that nature.
But I think to the question, it's not like there's an official duty. The compact committee's lived without board members for years.
And there's always been a board member typically on, they don't always make the meetings because of life happens, but typically there's a member or 2 on every compact team. The compact team consists of parents, faculty, staff, support staff, teachers, administrators, and board member. That's typically the makeup.
Do we want to go through each committee?
Technology committee, I think last year we had 2 meetings a year, last year. I'm not sure if there'll be any more this year, but typically there's 2. Genesee Valley School Boards rep and alternate. That can be a monthly meeting. Typically it's been the president and then maybe the vice president or somebody else to serve in the capacity, but that's no more than 1 meeting a month. You might be every other month. Again, you'll be lifting the work of the Genesee Valley region as a board member. Legislative liaison, unless you're coming to me with meetings to meet with the senator and assembly person, typically the role has been either any initiative regarding funding in terms of taking sort of advocacy. Your legislative breakfast is typically the end of January, beginning of February. The attendance is there. Other than that, it's not a huge commitment. I say that not knowing what funding will be. If you were with us in 2012-13, you were writing regularly, but not a huge commitment in a typical year. Negotiations this year, will be negotiations for the CMTA that will start no later than February, so certainly that will be an active group. The board audit, so the board audit committee will have 2 or 3 audits in the course of the year. Really your time is getting familiar with the material before the meeting. Other than that, it's a presentation by the auditors, and you have the opportunity to ask questions. At that point, the board audit committee makes the recommendation for the entire board to then adopt it or approve it. Everybody's privy to the information, but there's only 2 or 3 members that actually sit on the audit committee. Facilities committees, I think that'll be pretty active again this year. The past years, the last 2 years, has always been about our capital project to develop and now it's been approved. We'll be looking at other things. That could be, this year we were meeting once or twice a month for 6 or 7 months. Now we meet once or twice a month until the project is actually lifted. We have a meeting here in 2 weeks. So that one is pretty active because we're dealing with a capital project.
so I'm on that committee, and it was hard. It's usually morning meetings. So if you have regular work, it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's tough because we're gonna need access to now all the labor force as well as architect engineering. It is typically a business hour meeting. Rarely does it take place at night. Let's see here, board policy committee. That one, this year, we probably only met 2 or 3 different times, but I can share with you that the policy committee will be looking at several changes here in the near future. And typically, when you have a new superintendent, you may, in the first 24 months, 36 months, actually go through your entire policy manual. So I see that as a pretty active committee here moving forward. And you just simply will meet depending on the need. Those have been morning meetings, they've been Zoom meetings, they've been afternoon meetings, whatever is convenient for the group. Athletic Code or Shared Service Committee, that'll be working with potentially other districts, but working with our Shared Service Committee as we bring opportunities for students. For instance, this year was dealing a little bit more with Leroy Central regarding some of our sport opportunities, but it could be dealing with any school district if we're sharing opportunities, enriching our students' lives, so it could be with any district. That could be very active or not so active. But I would say you're probably looking at no more than 4 or 5 meetings in the course of the entire year. Genesee Valley Board's President Representative, again, that's a schedule that we do not hold here at Caledonia Mumford to be part of the BOCES, and that's typically once a month, if not at least once a quarter. It's again, depending on your need. Financial planning, actually we probably will not need that one this year, or we may want to keep it, especially with the new superintendent, but that was actually put in place because of the long-term planning that we worked with Rick Timms last year and so forth. So that one is certainly worthwhile, but I would imagine the frequency would be less than once a quarter.
Did we staff that one, or did we have a representative on that one last year?
Yeah. Textbook
Just not
committee.
showing up in the backup.
Okay. Textbook committee, that one is probably going to be not a lot of meetings until you probably get to that April, May, June, when we're looking to purchase textbooks for the following school year. But that can go from very little activity to a ton of activity. I think this year we reviewed 3 books, 2 books?
We've done 3, 4.
2 or 3 just in the high school.
Yeah.
So it could be very little or an awful lot. And typically it requires time reviewing the textbook outside of the school day, coming in as a committee discussing the content. Usually the content leader, the teacher, or the principal will be leading the discussion. We'll talk about anything that's potentially controversial, whatever the case may be. And I'll actually talk about what's being taught in the textbook. You may get a textbook of 350 pages, but they might only be touching 75 pages. But you approve the textbook, so that's why you review it all.
Early review to 3
Yeah.
To your point, Liz, I think that the elementary and middle school compacts require more meetings than some of the others.
Yeah.
Along with, I would say for this year, negotiations, since we're in a negotiation year, and
Negotiations typically are evenings, time-wise.
so just take that into consideration when you consider committees that you'd like to be on. But I think typically we've just gone through and said what we wanted, and we've come to a consensus.
The Genesee Valley Board said I can tell you the time, and that's evenings meetings. They're not during the school day.
Both of those we've typically done president and vice president.
Correct.
And compact committees are those at night or during the day?
They're night, usually 6 o'clock.
So, any other questions about those before I go through them?
How many are you accepted?
There's no.
All of them.
There's not a number. Whatever you feel like you can manage in your life.
Usually the new people get 4 each. Sorry.
Elementary compact committee, who is interested?
Peggy and Mike.
Middle high school compact committee.
I'll continue.
And I'm interested in that one.
This is Becca.
Technology committee.
I can jump on that.
If you need another body, I'm happy to do it.
Okay, thank you, Liz. Thank you, Mike. Genesee Valley School Board Rep alternate, I would like to do that.
You an alternate?
John, yeah, just as an alternate? I'd be happy to be your alternate.
Fantastic. Legislative liaison, I will do that as well. John, you want to be my alternate?
I'd be happy to be your alternate in that one too.
Negotiations.
I'd like to do that.
I learned a lot on that one. Anyone else?
I can do that.
Okay. Board audit.
I'll keep it unless somebody else wants it.
I'll go with you.
I can stay on that.
Facilities committee.
How often does that meet?
A lot.
Especially
Especially
like a
with-
monthly, first thing in the
It's
morning.
because you're in the capital project.
Yeah.
It's been a lot for like 3 years.
It'll be a lot for the next two-ish.
Yeah. Probably the next 12 months a lot, and after that, not as often.
Aren't meetings like 9 o'clock in the morning?
Most of them have been at 9, there've been a few at 1, like our next upcoming meetings at 1 o'clock, but most of them are morning meetings.
Is there opportunity to call in, phone in?
I had Arnie called in a few times. I think
Okay.
you called in one time on Zoom, you were traveling.
Yes.
Being in one of the meetings, so there are times that you can do that.
Okay.
I'll do it as long as I can. But we should put another person on it also.
I'm happy to do it. Anyone else? 3 wouldn't be bad, I don't think, for the, I don't know, if anyone else is interested.
If you find you need someone, let me know.
Yep, thank you.
Um,
Board policy committee.
Yeah, I'll stay on that.
I could go on there.
I would like to be on that.
And Peggy, you said that?
You might do this.
Shared services committee. I would like to stay on that. I like that committee.
Agree with you. As long as it,
Okay. Athletic code committee.
I can do that.
And Mike, you and I were on that. And do you want to stay?
Yeah, I can, yeah. 'cause
No pressure either
You
way.
signed up for a lot, so, yeah, I can stay on that.
No pressure either way.
Okay.
You want me to stay on it?
If you, no, I said you have signed up for a lot of the Genesee Valley
Oh.
legislative and that, so if you want to let that go, I can.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Genesee Valley Board President Rep, I'll do that. John will be my alternate, hopefully. Thank you. Financial planning.
I'll do it.
This is the one to do, because we're not probably gonna meet that much this year.
I have interest in this, I think Rick did a great job, so we're working with him, I'm interested.
Textbook committee.
I'll keep that.
Thanks.
John, Peggy.
Probably would be a good idea to at least have a couple of you, because if we're getting into the elementary this year, in the elementary, we didn't have any, you could be quite a few books. So you may wanna have.
Liz, were you on
Yeah,
that?
and if you need someone, let me know.
Okay, I'll put you
So is
on.
that 2?
3.
3? Good.
I'm gonna read these out, Sue, so to make sure you have the same.
Okay.
And anyone tell me if I missed something. Elementary Compact Committee will be Mike and Peggy. The Middle School, High School Compact Committee will be Liz and Becca, Liz Dietrich. Technology Committee will be Mike and Liz Dietrich. Genesee Valley BOCES Board Rep and Alt will be myself and John. Legislative Liaison, myself and John. Negotiations will be Becca and Mike. Board Audit will be John, Chris, and Mike. Facilities Committee will be Chris and both Liz's. Board Policy Committee, Liz, Mike, Peggy. Shared Service Committee,
Which Liz, did you clear?
I'm sorry. Yes,
Yes.
thank you. Shared Service Committee, Liz Dow, Chris. Athletic Code Committee, Becca and Mike. Genesee Valley Board President Representative, Liz and John. Financial Planning, Chris and Mike. And finally, Textbook Committee will be John, Peggy, and Liz Dietrich. That sound right to everybody? All right, Board Committee, resolve that the Board of Education appoint representatives to committees for the 2024 school year as follows, as I just stated. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Can I have a second? Thank you.
Second, Liz.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Can I
Okay.
ask another question about committees? Can we make it a whether it's done in this space or executive session, report back each month as a board to say, hey, I had this committee meeting, this is what we learned, just so we all know what we're doing. Because there's so many, so many things we're all involved in, we have no idea that, oh, the textbook meeting, or textbook committee met. Oh, that's nice, but we don't know, what was or wasn't accomplished.
So for the new members, there'll be a folder, it'll say 24-25 school board folder, and you'll have a calendar of all these committees, who's chairing the committee, typically the principals or maybe a supervisor, when they meet, where they meet, and so forth. You'll have that at your disposal, even though you may not be on the committee, but you'll be able to see that when they're meeting, and so forth. And it's a good idea to share the learning.
I don't know, wherever it's most appropriate.
One other thing I wrote down is I probably will add to that sheet a little description of the committee, so moving forward, we don't have to do this again, but it'll be there.
We don't know,
Okay.
yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Also, continue to report up to the people leading committees, and I know that they've gotten much better to individually email the board members, or not individually, but in the group email, make us aware of when the meeting is. That's been helpful for me.
And also, you'll get weekly updates from me, and Friday there'll be a link there, but also upcoming dates. Another reminder for you.
All right, moving on to number 7, building use fees. Resolved that the Board of Education per board policy 3280 establish building use fees at $30 per hour for the 2024-2025 school year. Motion, please.
I'll make it.
John, was that, I'm sorry, Mike.
John made the motion, I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion?
Again, you saw in the backup notes, really just to cover our expenses in order to have that opportunity for students or community. That's the $30 fee.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. Substitute rates. Resolved that the Board of Education establish the following rates for substitutes during the 2024-2025 school year as attached. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make it.
A second?
Yep.
Anything to add, Bob? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. Committee on Special Education. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the recommended membership to the Committee on Special Education for the 2024-2025 school year as follows. In your backup notes. Can I have a motion, please?
Yes.
A second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. Resolved that the, number 11, Committee on Preschool Special Education. Resolved, sorry.
They all look alike, those 3 in a row.
Thank you. 10, Subcommittee on Special Education. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the recommended membership to the Subcommittee on Special Education for the 2024-2025 school year as follows. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
A second?
I'll second.
Discussion, Bob?
No different points, just make sure it's 14.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. Number 11, Committee on Preschool Special Education. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the recommended membership to the Committee on Preschool Special Education for the 2024-2025 school year as follows.
I'll make the motion.
Motion, please. Thank you. Second.
Yep.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. Number 12, establish standard workday for ERS. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, hereby establish as standard workdays for its employees and will report days worked to New York State and local employees retirement system based on the timekeeping system or the record of activities maintained and submitted by these members to the clerk of this body. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make it.
A second?
Yep.
Any discussion?
I have a question. Is there overtime for teachers or regular?
A standard day is a typical day, doesn't include overtime. So a standard day for a teacher is 7.5 hours.
Okay.
Say, for example, a maintenance worker would be 8 hours.
Right, I read that list.
Yeah.
So it's just, that's what it is, but I'm just saying, if something comes up, and they stay later.
So we have a contract, yes, if they say later, it's time and a half. For
Okay.
teachers, there's no such thing because they're salary employees. So they might receive either chaperone or supervisor rate or curriculum rate if they were actually working, or for a supervising event, but that's not this piece.
Okay.
This is just for retirement purposes.
Got it. Oh.
This is just for retirement purposes. We tell the state how many hours is in our typical workday for the various employees is listed.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. Authorization to hire employees pending board approval. Whereas the appointment of employees and approval of volunteers is within the authority of this board, and whereas employee appointments and volunteer approvals generally begin after the date of board action, and whereas there are circumstances in which it is advantageous and proper that employees and volunteers begin prior to the date of board election. Now therefore be it resolved that this board delegates to the superintendent or designee the authority to appoint employees and to approve volunteers effective on a date prior to board action, provided, however, that such employees and volunteers are placed on the board agenda for the next following board meeting. Can I have a motion, please?
Yes.
Second.
I'll second it.
Discussion.
Could we, is it possible, to get notified of that in a Friday update of employees who you have done that with?
Maybe possibly full-time. The part-time would be very challenging in terms of substitute teachers because they're in and out, but I would say full-time, absolutely.
All in favor, please.
Aye.
All opposed? Carried 7-0. 14, authorization for business matters in between board meetings. Authorize the superintendent or designee to approve and sign routine and or time-sensitive contracts that require action between board meetings. Motion, please.
I'll make it.
Second.
Yep.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. 15, authorization for business office functions in between board meetings. Authorize the superintendent or designees to certify payrolls, make transfers of money between and within functional unit appropriation service codes, to approve conferences for all employees, and to approve applications for grants. Motion, please.
I'll make it.
Second.
Yep.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. We do not have any old business today, so we're gonna move on to new business.
Yes.
Number 1, resolution to approve breakfast and lunch prices. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the school breakfast and lunch prices for the 2024-2025 school year as follows. Breakfast, $2 K through 5, $2 6 through 12, lunch $3 K through 5, and $3.10 6 through 12. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make it.
Second?
Second.
Bob, do you wanna?
Yeah, just real quick, you know, right now we are good for free lunches and breakfasts for our students through 2027. The likelihood, you know, would we continue that free lunch? It's all based on our free lunch percentage here at the school district. So it's important that we continue to raise our prices even though children are not charged these, just to keep up with the prices. I think this year our food prices went up $70,000. Groceries? Over $70,000 this year. So we couldn't keep our price flat. And there's also, as I showed you in the backup notes, the paid lunch equity tool states that we should actually have our lunches over $3.40. It's almost like a break-even type of thing. So you'll see that these prices will increase over the next couple, 2 or 3 years. And should that free breakfast and lunch opportunity be taken from us for a reason we don't qualify, that will be the going rate for parents and community members.
So if we're charging $3.40 and it's free, are we getting reimbursed $3.40 by the?
No, we don't get reimbursed $3.40, we get reimbursed a certain percentage from the federal government and state
Of our costs or of this rate?
of the rate.
So then why don't we boost the rate?
Say it again?
Yeah, the amount is even higher. They come out with the rates every year. The federal government and the state government will come out with reimbursement rates. I haven't seen them for this coming year yet, but it's actually higher than the $3.40. That's why the school lunch fund is making more money over the past few years, or the COVID years, and then this past year that we were CEP. But it is higher than $3.40.
So it's not based on the rate we're approving?
Not our rate, no.
Correct. And also, just a second, this rate is important to approve also because if a student wants doubles, so if a student comes in and wants a doubles, then this is the price that they will be paying.
Thank you. Any other questions? All in,
If a student is getting a free lunch and he decides he wants two, no problem, right?
He or she pays for the second lunch.
Oh, all right, thank you.
Do many kids bring their lunch at all?
Yeah, so bring your lunches, probably roughly 27, 28% in the elementary school and a little less than 20% in middle high school.
So does that, do you get,
We don't get any reimbursement if the child does not purchase or go through the lunch line.
oh, so they will go by the number that goes through?
Yes, number of sales or transactions, I guess you would say in this case.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. Number 2, setting the 2024-2025 tax levy. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, set the tax levy for the 2024-2025 annual school budget at $7,923,478. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make it.
Have a second. Bob or Jeremy, do you want to speak to this?
It's pretty based on, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. School Resource Officer Agreement. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the School Resource Officer Agreement with the Village of Caledonia for the 2024-2025 school year. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make it.
A second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Robert, quick question. The resource officer works 28 hours this week. Is he getting, doesn't get direct deposit or a check or anything from the school, is that correct?
That's correct. They're paid by the village.
How often do we send money to the village?
Twice a year.
What if there's money left over?
There isn't, because we are actually purchasing the service. It doesn't matter if one officer works 28 hours, another one works 12 to get to that roughly 40 hours. So
Thank you.
they disperse the money, so they can divvy it up however, the time cards. But there's no money left over. It's their responsibility to provide a substitute should they be, on vacation, whatever the case may be.
Thank you.
Any other questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried 7-0. Approval of the Best Value Cooperative Purchasing. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve as listed in your backup notes this agreement. If you would like me to read it, if there's any will of the board for me to read this, I will. Or you can reference your backup notes.
Backup notes are fine, thank you.
Motion, please.
I'll make it.
Second.
Yep.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. Approval of Equalist Group Cooperative Purchasing Agreement. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve specific cooperative as listed. Motion, please.
I'll make it.
Second.
Yep.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. Approval of Omnia Partners Cooperative Purchasing Agreement as listed. Motion, please.
I'll make it.
Second.
Yeah.
Peggy, thank you. Discussion.
Which one is the local one and which one is the one we found that's really good in PA or something?
Oh, so the PA was Keystone.
Oh, so
We
don't need them.
At this moment, we don't need Keystone. We may go up to Keystone when we do the capital project.
So that's where we got the roof in?
That's where we purchased the roof.
That's what I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the turf, if I recall.
Yeah, actually, you're right. This is the second turf in 2019.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried 7-0. Approval of TIPS Cooperative Purchasing Agreement as listed. Motion, please.
I'll make it.
A second.
Yep.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. Approval, number 8, approval of security rate for special events and athletic contests. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the Caledonia Police for security at special events and athletic contests at the hourly rate of $26.50 for the 2024-2025 school year. Can I have a motion, please?
Yes.
A second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
It's not really a discussion, this also, when they take care of us here at the board meeting, the evenings, that's the rate that we're paying.
And they have a minimum also.
2 hour minimum.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. Approval of Courier Van intermunicipal cooperative agreement. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the intermunicipal cooperative agreement with the Leroy Central School District regarding the use of the Courier Van during the summer per attached resolution. Motion, please.
I'll make it.
Second.
Yep.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. Number 10, Board of Education evaluation discussion. So in our backup notes, as everyone can see, we have our evaluation that we've been wanting to discuss. I'm requesting, given that I just sat in the seat, that we table this till the next meeting. I do think we have to have an open dialogue and honest discussion about this. I'm requesting that we just table it, given that I just sat here as president. Is anyone opposed to that?
I think that's a good idea.
I appreciate it. Thank you. We will discuss next meeting.
Now, is
We'll
that
vote
discussed?
on. Do you want to make a motion to table? I'll make a motion to table the discussion.
Thank you.
I'll second it. Go
Is
ahead.
that done in public session, or is that?
Discussions in public session.
Any other questions about that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. 11, award of bid, 2024-2025 capital outlay project. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, award the 2024-2025 capital outlay project to the lowest responsible bidder, MJ's Contracting Services Incorporated. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. Number 12, sale and disposal of school district property. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, award the bid of miscellaneous items to the highest bidders from Auctions International website per board policy 5250, sale and disposal of school district property. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
A second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. Finally, executive session. Resolved that the Board of Education adjourn to executive session at 6:44 p.m. to discuss the employment and employee history of particular persons and matters leading to the appointment. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make it.
A second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 7-0. We will be back. We are back from executive session. Resolved that the Board of Education return to regular session at 8:26. Motion, please.
I'll make it.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, 7-0. We're gonna move to personnel. We are gonna do personnel 1 through 17. Resolved that the Board of Education approve personnel 1 through 17. Can I have a motion, please?
Yes.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed 7-0. Adjournment, resolved, the Board of Education adjourned the meeting July 18, 2024 at 8:27. Motion, please.
I'll make it.
Second.
So be it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pass, any opposed? Passed, 7-0.
Okay, that's it.